So they'll be calling you a radical. There are so many nuclear ties to here, a nuclear university. I mean, so of course the movie's coming out on Moon Day. I thought that was going to be a national holiday. So Oppenheimer. So, but I want to talk about BOMBA. So one of the nuclear physicists that made Tsar Bomba, the biggest nuclear blast in world history. Oh, you have little boy, fat man. Oh, they don't have it. Watch, look what we got. So, he killed himself this week. He was 93. But really, let's get real and talk about this, about how these madmen, psychopaths, have squashed the true meaning of the anti-nuclear movement. Look what they've done to Kevin Blanch. Come on, Fuku. Let's talk about this, Fuku. Come on, Fuku. You're looking a little mutated. What? You have 18,000 becquerels of cesium-137 per kilogram in you, Fuku? What? Fish swim? Japanese currents goes into the California current, Fuku. There's no regulations on fish coming to the U.S. Eat up. I wonder why cancer is skyrocketing post-pandemic. That tadpoles at your feet. So let's talk about this, Fuku. Where's your soup can? What do you think he's made out of? Easy, Fuku. Easy, Fuku. So, the movie's coming out. I used to talk to Frank. Remember when Lauren Monet used to have her gig right there by the stadium at Berkeley? God, them were the days, man. I used to talk to Frank in there. He used to come. All those guys are fierce anti-nukers after it's too late. They waited till late. Well, let's talk about, how about Joseph? He's the real inventor of this whole, he's the guy. When he found out that Hitler didn't have it. Remember, the U.S. had intelligence trying to find out, does Hitler have it? He was really never interested. So, the communique came back in 43 or 44. Baby never born, mother never pregnant. He says, that's it. We can't use it. You cannot use this. You can't use the bomb. He left the Manhattan Project. Now remember, Albert Einstein was banned from the Manhattan. Einstein's Nobel Prize back then for the physicist was clear back, 1921, 22. He was blackballed after that, right? Right? Hell of a way to boil water. Kevin Blanch, hell of a way to boil a planet. So I always go back to Andrei Sakharov. He had a lot of ties here. So Andrei Sakharov, he is our bomber. He won a Nobel Prize, 1975? I started here in 1976. My 8th grade history teacher at Walkush Junior High is one of those gifted students. God, that was wild. I look back on it. Whew, good old days. But anyway, Andrei Sakharov won a real Nobel Prize, right? Right? Peace. Peace. So how did he die? Remember, he gave that blistering speech on the use of nuclear bomb in the Soviet Union the day he died. He had the same thing as my heart. Same thing. Supposedly. See, odds, all this happened to me. I was perfectly good shape till Fukushima. I took on the nuclear energy crime syndicate. A little polonium in the tea. A little polonium. Pardon me. Oh, that was 75, right? Nixon. Lord, pardon me. A little polonium to the tea. La 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 Tsar Bomba. So the movie comes out the 20th. So that'll be perfect timing because I do my event at the ENOLA Gay Hangar every year. I've done it for well over 4 years. I'm getting close to 50 years I've done that. Remember, the hangar was ready to fall down. Whatever. It's funny that we're the ones that, Jim and myself and a few, Jim, myself, and we get that all put back together, and then Tooele County, who just mothballed it, the Air Force, who just left it, caved in roof, whatever, after it gets all done, we get private grants and fix it up. Oh, then they want it back. Oh, then they get involved. Remember the cool fence with the razor wires I used to hang my paintings on? They're all gone. Yeah, they got, after we did all that work and restored it, whatever. Remember, I got to sit in his chair, Tippett's. No, this is important. What's the matter, Fuku? Fuku, come on, Fuku. Which came first, the nuclear egg or the chicken? BOMBA. They all ended up being fierce, hardcore anti-nukers after the fact. Joseph did before. He says, So for May, I bet $1. May died in La Jolla, young, that it will kill everybody Trinity in New Mexico. They did it anyway. Fukushima. Fukushima. Where do you think Oppenheimer got that quote? Now I become destroyer of worlds. Fukushima. My paintings are the only paintings that have ever been in there. Oh, they've been hanging there. They've been in there. Shh. With permission. With permission. So I got to tell this story. This is so important. So Japan reaches out to us. Jim and I, the ENOLA hangar. We would like to come folding 1,000 paper cranes. That's Sudoku, right? She died of leukemia at 11 years old. Same thing my father. My father, nuclear death in the Nevada test site. So historic and so powerful. Easy, Fuku. Easy, Fuku. You're looking a little mutated, Fuku. So, don't drop your dry gas container. So, they reach out to us. Now remember, my father, drafted Marine from here, Air Blast 1, nuked to death in the Nevada test site, died of leukemia at the prime of his life. They try to make a sequel out of me. Everybody in Japan knows my story because I wasn't censored inside Japan when Fukushima happened. And if you don't believe me, you go ask Kathy Iwani, you go ask Rachel Godoya. They're like the only real reports anywhere in Japan was Kevin Blanche here in the United States. They were both living in Japan. They're both here. Kathy was so paramount on the closure of San Onofre working with Kevin Blanche post Fukushima. So, Sudoku, Folding 1,000 Paper Cranes. That incredible book. She's a little girl, post the bomb. We've never to this day seen the original footage. The US's footage. To this day. How's that possible? How's it possible that we still haven't seen the full Warren Commission on JFK? Blown away. What else I have to say? So this goes back to JFK. JFK gave that famous speech in 1963. Joseph's the one that did all the work that in the Nevada test site that was going to mutate you and give you cancer. He's speaking right to Kevin Blanche. I was 3 years old then when Kennedy gives that speech. The guys that they nuked in the thing, their children are going to look at. Given too much to live with AML, de novo, death sentence. So they reach out to us. Sudoku's very own great niece is a celebrity over there. They want to come and reach out the olive branch to us. The ENOLA flew out of Utah. That hangar right there. We've done all that work. Fat boy, little man. I mean, it all ties here. Here. Right here to this school. Let's go to the Starbucks. Again, I knew Tracy Hall personally. How's it going? Really well. So, it was my 8th grade history teacher. The synthetic diamond, G, Utah construction, here, floor, here. So the anti-nuclear movement at one point was pretty damn big on this campus, but that was long ago. They're all in, they're war profiteers. So, here I am, the son of a specialist former Marine, marched in the Nevada test site, nuked to death. That Joseph is the one that did all that work. He's the guy. He's really the guy who invented nuclear energy. Oh, it's him. It's him. 1940 says, no way, I'm out, mine project. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Baby never born, mother never pregnant. So Kennedy gives that famous speech just right before he's blown away. Now, didn't he work for the CIA? That I'm a patsy? Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s gave a recent thing on nuclear energy. Half nucleared it. John Kennedy didn't half nuclear it. Joseph didn't half nuclear it. Albert Einstein didn't half it. So Oppenheimer, after he dropped it, Frank used to show up. All those nuclear physicists used to show up, the ones that were still alive. So this is important. So when that bomb dropped, everybody went psycho. Now remember, Russia had lost, what, 27, 28 million men in that brutal war? Hitler never had the bomb. Was never real interested. U.S. intelligence proved that. So, Delta by the Sea, they're dividing up the world. Churchill's the odd man out. What? So, what is AN602, 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 BOMBA? Stay with me. So, we don't drop one, we drop two. You know, Doolittle, what's the jet stream? Newly discovered. Fighting uphill at Okinawa. Bloody, nasty, hideous. Can't reverse course. Even the general who led that fighting uphill has taken a lot of shit over the years of the U.S. for not reversing and coming downhill. Dug in. The Emperor of Japan, we never went after him, did we? We never did we? What the fuck is this dude doing? Enjoy riding on campus? So, here I am, the son of a Special Forces Marine. Oh, that dude was all that. My uncle raised me, Omaha Beach, D-Day, everybody knows him. Claude, my uncle, look it up, his obituary. Claude just passed away. You don't think he was CIA? Look at that resume. The 4.0, valedictorian at BYU in chemistry. The 5 freaking letter athlete. Yeah. First fighter, most decorated fighter. That's my dad's little brother who raised me. So we're out the Enola Gay, we put it all back together. They reach out. They ban the open air testing, which Oppenheimer was all for that, banning. So he blows his head off in Russia this week at 93 years old. What about Andrei Sakharov? A little plonium to the T. Stalin, a little plonium to the T. What about Tsar Putin? BOMBA. Oh, we have a climate czar. I thought czars were Russian kings. You don't believe Ukraine? Russian war shows that, oh, what? We're banning, we're going to cripple their economy, except for the enriched uranium. You don't think this hasn't proved that they don't illuminate, they radiate? Fuku, oh, sorry, Fuku, you okay? That cesium doesn't hurt you, because you know what? Did you know that 1 is more than 3, Winston? 1 is more than 3. Oliver Stone said so. Everybody said so. Chernobyl's the worst nuclear. It didn't hurt nobody. Oliver Stone, 1 is more than 3. Winston, what is which was greater, 1 or 3? Which is greater, 1 or 3? So they reach out to us. So they come here. Our great niece. So we have an event on August 6th. I've been doing my event for years. You go out there, look at the concrete, whatever. I mark it every year. Going on 40 years. Me and Annika used to do a lot of work in there. When I used to first go in there, they just left everything. Tippett's stuff was still there. His desk was still there. There were atomic metal posters and stuff. I didn't steal any of it out of there. I look back on it, I should have, because they just threw it away. Oh, we will pretend. Because that's what American war pigs are made of. So when they drop the bomb, everybody goes, Dorothy Day, who I love that rant, she goes, I hope it gets into the jet stream that sucks up. Truman. She just goes off. That Truman rant of hers is her bet. By the way, she was in Crimea when World War one started. Hoover, I always go, Mister, we could use another man like Hoover. Hoover gets a bum rap, man. He was a genius. He invented the stoplight, you know. He invented a lot of shit. You know, all the stuff he did. I mean, he really was a humanitarian. He gets a bum rap. He didn't cause that depression. The banksters did. It's like now. So, Hoover, never in the history of mankind. The Romans didn't do it. The Greeks didn't do it. Even, you know, he just rattled off history. It's been condensed into a small quote that never in the history of mankind has any group of people, any nation, any military indiscretionally mass murdered women and children till now. The United States revolts my soul. Everybody ripped him. This is the first time in humankind anything was used like that. Look where we are now. Putin threatening the money we spend a day trying to prevent nuclear fallout. I mean, yet Fukushima happens. But again, Oliver Stone said, so everybody else, one is bigger than three. One partial graphite meltdown at, you know, which came first, the chicken or the egg? The nuclear energy and nuclear bombs are one and the same. Plutonium, sitting on the state line, turning uranium-238 into 235. Uranium, livermorium, californium, AN602. Fat boy, little man. The artiste. So they come. International media from all over the world there. Here's Kevin Blanche, full of leukemia. That's what Sudoku. I think there's 3 in the United States. She folded paper cranes as she was dying. She got to 644 and she died of leukemia. Sanjay Gupta, Anderson Cooper, in Fukushima, Japan, going off, blah, 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 nuclear meltdowns, then they come home. Sanjay Gupta, MD, 2 weeks later, March 25th, 2011, on Sanjay, practicing neurosurgeon, he violated his Hippocratic code. He violated his code. Illegal. He should be in jail for what he did. I says, put up the transcript. He's got an artist from Michigan. I went to Chernobyl. Everybody, I was sick with rheumatic fever when I was a kid, Chernobyl. It never hurt anybody. It never hurt anybody. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Then they put a doctor on there. When the bomb happened, I was a little girl, and my best friend was 11. Used the 11-year-old innuendo. Suzuki. I found out radiation isn't all that bad. It's good. I'm like, oh. Same day Liz Taylor died. Fucking Lucy moonwalking. Any you been hit by? You been smacked? Any you okay? Any you okay? Any you okay? Any you okay? You been hit by? You been smacked by the ultimate smooth nuclear criminal. We nuked ourselves. Pop, 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 pop. Fucking BOMBA. Let's stage our troops at the polygon. What's that? And then they wonder why they all come back. Let's play depleted uranium and white phosphorus all over Beau Biden and his old man in Fallujah. Birth defects, cancer, blah, blah, blah. What? Their own Livermore, California, Kamala Harris's own mother was the epidemiologist. She died young of cancer. You know, where was she when she was on the shutdown of San Antonio? Where is she now? I mean, what are we doing? So they come. Sudoku's very own great niece, Anderson, Vanderbilt, Cooper, and Sanjay Gupta. Nuclear meltdown. 6 days later, they come home. They said it hundreds of times. MIT, Jim Walsh, who ended up on CCTV, Chinese infiltrated the school business of the Waters. Kevin Blanche, my school, Weber State. Kevin Blanche, Dr. Cooley. You keep going after the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate like you do, we're the #1 school business in the country. They don't dare go after me. Walking through Beethoven. All roads lead to Ogden to Weber State. Beethoven. What are you doing walking through the royal family? Black Hand was a Browning gun. The Browning Center at Weber State, Ogden, Utah. Browning, Black Hand. You can't walk through the royal family. Marie Antoinette's mom and daddy, you can't walk through that like that. You must step aside. They must step aside for me, I told Dr. Taylor. Fuck them. I'm afraid of them. What? China's infiltrated? Now we're... Stay with this is for the big kids. So they come. Here she is. She's a celebrity over there. There's a picture on my Facebook that tags her. That's her. She calls me up. I go up in front of the crowd. International media from nearly every country in the world. including HNK, who called me on the phone and wanted me to consult on their, and they backed out like they always do, like everybody does with me, because I'm way too hot handled. I tell the truth. I'm the most accomplished activist. I'm the activist probably in modern history. I always think Oppenheimer, those guys, they would love me. Einstein would love me. So would Sakharov. Sakharov was the best, man. Remember they wanted to do 100 megatons and he dropped it to 50? Blew the wind. I mean, it killed people hundreds of miles away. TSAR BOMBA, he blows his head off. So they come. They're here. The science building, Starbucks, really? So she calls me up and she says, Kevin Blanche, for all your incredible work. I go up. She hands me a folded paper crane that says peace on it. This is made from the permanent memorial at Hiroshima out of recycled folded paper crane. For whom the bell tolls, Franco is still alive. For whom good, obey your nuclear energy masters. Masters, good, Obama. Obama, dumber. Field in Ogden, Utah. Obama, dumber. Oh, Bush, dumb. Obama, dumber. Trump, dumbest. Sliding with old man Biden. The nuclear Fukushima cover-up puppets. Obey your nuclear, for whom the bell tolls. So they come. Stay with me. This is for the big kids. So she comes. International media from every place, Jim and I reached out, including to this university, to the science department, to the history department. We reached out to every single piece of media, KSL, KUTV, NPR, every single outlet there was, including this university, University of Utah, BYU, Utah. We reached out. This is going to be a major, one of the biggest events in world history. She calls me up, gives me hugs me, started to cry. I almost started to cry. I kept my composure. So they present a real folded paper crane. The Sudoku, actually, we have it. So Jim's son's the first one that gets to hold it. I look up, Jim's just crying. He's got tears down his face. He can't control his emotion. Jim's son's just totally so emotional. Everybody, so many people were in there just crying. So I'm the next person that got to hold it. I kept my composure. I wanted to cry, but never free, never me, because I did the unforgiven. Fuku, hang in there, Fuku. Hang in there. So, guess how much? We had a dinner at the new Officers Club that we've restored with private funding that they steal back from us after we do it with private funding. Seems like, oh, and you're saying tippets share. I interviewed Jepson on this campus. He's from here. He pushed the button. He just cried. All those guys just cried. Anybody who was involved with the bomb went like this, including Andrei Sakharov, including this guy. He blows his head off at 93 years old. You get older, you look back, what have we done? What have we done? We dropped that bomb for what? That the island had been devastated. We firebombed it, and the Japanese were relentless at Hiroshima. What they did to the Marines, my dad's a Semper Fi Marine, what they did is, it was the Emperor. How come we didn't get the Emperor? How come we didn't get him, Hirohito, which is Yoko's cousin? Look it up. How come? Let it be. Mother Mary came to me. What? He lived in Manhattan, in Europe and Japan, happily. He was an old man. He was a young guy when, they didn't go after them, did they? You know, we had trials in Japan. I reckon. The Reckon Lab. Didn't we bomb that out? Oh, it's back. Oppenheimer comes out the 20th. It'll be good for me to lead up to my event at the Shirtwaist Fire, where we get a big crowd. Usually get 2 of us. You know, I mean, nobody showed. Last year it was me by myself. You know, the year before there was 2. And he was out there because he went to the dispensary. I mean, such a major event. So, international media everywhere. There's videos. I think the greatest video is on the 7th anniversary. I took my grandson out there, and Jim let him slide down the fire pole. I said, you're the first one. I said, when you're old and you look back on the 100th anniversary, you'll be glad those videos are out there. I mean, you say, yeah, that's me. So emotional, so incredible. So, Weber State was blackballed me. It was actually a joke anymore. It used to be a powerhouse of a university. We don't even rank the top freaking Princeton Review. It's pathetic. Don't you think that's a major event for Utah media? Seventh generation Utah, father nuked to death in today. I mean, I come from a famous family in this town. Kevin Blanch fighting for AML leukemia. Sudoku, who died of AML, folding the paper cranes, comes, presents. Kevin Blanch gets to hold the paper crane. Such an historic event. No media shows up. None. Channel 4 showed up after the fact when we was having the dinner. I was so appalled. Jim says, I can't believe. I says, I told you. He says, I wouldn't have believed it. I sent out media requests to everybody. Why? Who's pulling these people's strings? Well, why does nobody report the F word Fukushima? You don't think we're being controlled? TAS, Pravada, TAS, state-run media, the old Soviet, they're terrible. We sure screamed about Chernobyl. They want Fukushima. What about the state-run media here in Utah? Well, in the United States. And alternative media is even worse. They took on Fukushima to sell supplements. Use Kevin Blanch's videos when I'm walking the dead typos, dying of cancer, sucked up to 119 pounds, open heart surgery twice, sleeping in a fucking sleep bag, keynote speaker in all these hearings. And when I'm keynote speaker at the Omni, all these guys are saying, where do I sleep? I sleep in a sleep bag on the fucking beach. Obey your nuclear master. She started to cry. That picture's powerful. I gotta hold it. So I come here during COVID. Go in the famous Stewart Library, the same library that Edward Abbey did all his work, same freaking library that Melvin Dumar forged the will, the infamous, the famous, same library that Bomba K. Brody. No, she was University of Chicago. University of Chicago, Ferme, that's where this whole ties into Fawn McKay Brody here. She's born and raised here. That why would Weber State blackball her? Why would Weber State blackball Kevin Blanch? Take on the nuclear cartel. So I come back during COVID, and they're all folding paper cranes in there. They got paper cranes everywhere, and I'm like, is that on the book? Sudoku? Yeah. Holding 1,000 paper cranes. She only got 644. So I tell them at the Stewart Library, the famous Stewart Library, I can get you a real one on loan. I talked to Jim about it. Yeah. Well, if Weber State requests it, go through the proper channels. We'll put it on loaner. I can get it. Not interested. But yeah, they got the fake ones on. Our BOMBA, so he's blown his head off. I was always going to write a song and do a rap. Maybe I'll do it out there this year. AN602. We named it Zarbomba. Oh, so why did we drop two in Japan? I'll tell you. When we divided up the world, Yalta by the sea, yeah, the war's going in Yalta. I've been to that part of the world before. So beautiful, so grand, so incredible. Stalin was from Georgia. Still man. You can see him and Roosevelt are getting together. Now, how did they come up with Truman? I hope it comes through the gesture and sucks up into your brain, and that's Dorothy Day. I thought Wallace was the vice president for all those years, 3 terms. But they come up with Truman. You think Wallace would have dropped that bomb? Hell no. So, we're fighting uphill. Nasty. Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge? Hacksaw Ridge is actually pretty good. Mel Gibson is usually off in Lunaticville and stuff, but that movie's actually, it'll make you cry. Hiroshima, Our Fathers, Clint Eastwood, those movies are pretty damn good. It was bloody, it was nasty, it was evil, it was hardcore. They bombed U.S. Pearl Harbor wasn't U.S. soil, was it? Why didn't it become a state till Barack Obama's mom moved there? From Kansas, Dick Cheney's cousin in 59. So, we divide up the world. Russia takes all of Eastern Europe, all of it. The deal's negotiated. Split Germany down the middle. They take east, we take west. West Germany, East Germany. those USS back to the USSR. Those East German athletes are cheating. They're blood doping. Lance Armstrong riding Bob Baffert trained horse, swinging Albert Bell's bat. Where's Mark McGuire? Now, who's the cheaters? So we split Germany. They take all of Eastern Europe, the Soviet Union. What took down the Soviet Union? Mikhail Gorbachev, to my face. His wife died of leukemia, this disease. Afghanistan. No one's ever beat Afghanistan. Nobody beats Afghanistan. The only one that wins in Afghanistan are the Afghanis. Been that way for thousands of years. Let's go to Kabul. It's tropical 1940s, 50s. Destination unknown. So, we're going to get Japan, right? Stalin's sitting there watching this bloody, nasty war in the U.S. just being wore down. It's just ugly. It's hideous. Women, Japanese women throwing their children over the cliffs. They're brainwashing to think. You know, what goes on in Okinawa today isn't brainwashing. It's horrible. You know, ask Rachel. She lived there when Fukushima happened. Russia's got troops. You know, remember Russia and Japan been fighting for years. Remember Teddy Roosevelt settled that. He got a real Nobel Prize for settling that fight. They're lined up. Millions of troops getting ready to go into Japan. And then it would have been theirs, right? So the U.S. is drop them now. Frank says that J. Robert never wanted to drop the bomb. Do you know why the Los Alamos, who the original spokesman, Jeff Bezos, born at Los Alamos, mother 14 years old, look it up, the regular smoke, the Department of Atomic, which is now the DOE, nuclear energy, which came first, the chicken and egg. Do you know why it's there? Jay Roberts says no. I mean, the brilliant physicist, I mean, talk about brilliant. No. They had a summer cabin there at Los Alamos. He loved it. He was an outdoorsman. He'd ride his horse. He loved the outdoors. No, I won't do it. I won't do it. He'd go hide out in that cabin. Well, it's going to be Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Wendover, Utah. We can. Then we'll bring it to you. I bet $1 it kills everybody in New Mexico. Fermi, he died young. Einstein was appalled at all these people. Einstein did not invent nuclear energy. He did not split the atom. Joseph, big piece of nuclear energy. Fermi died young. Albert Einstein did not write that letter. And you go to the Department of Energy site and say, oh, he wrote that letter that gave birth to the Department of Atomic, which is the Department of Energy today, which is the Army Corps of Engineers, who blackballed Kevin Blanch, who literally classified me. You can't make it up. It's okay, Fuku. Long video. It's okay, Fuku. Okay, Fuku. You can use this in universities for a lecture. It's okay, Fuku. Okay, Fuku. Look a little mutated. Just a little 18,000 kilograms of cesium-137 half-life short in per kilogram in you. That's all, Fuku. You're looking a little mutated, Fuku. What? What? Breaking news, fish swim. Gestures left to right. You might end up on a plate in a Manhattan diner. They're not called diners anymore, Fuku. So, they dropped it. Again, Herbert Hoover. Never in the history of man. This is all we ever need. This is all we fucking need. Never in the history of mankind has any military, any people, any nation indiscretionally mass murdered women and children. Very volts in my soul. Should have never happened. Your people outside should have dropped 3. They wanted to drop 3. I'll be interested to see how Oppenheimer comes out. I hear good things. I can't wait to see it. I bet it's good. Just like Chernobyl. I consulted on the Chernobyl documentary. I got a stocky beanie and a juice from it. And I'm a fool to do all your dirty work. All I ever wanted was my peace of mind. I got to hold that paper thing in my hand. One of the most emotional moments in my entire life. I think about Sudoku all the time. I think about all those children who died in that horrific nightmare and later died of leukemia. They have a name for them in Japan. My father died in the prime of his life after being nuked in bad size. The Enola Gay flew out of here. He was drafted. John Kennedy gives that speech. Joseph did all the work leading up to give that speech on leukemia. No leukemia in my father's family. All his brothers and sisters, not one of them. And I get it. And his great-grandson, neuroblastoma, I was given 2 months to live. When? I go into a bone marrow transplant on 11/11/11. You don't think this story's compelling? It's okay, Fuku. Gotta go with that left, Fuku. I don't know if I can do that, Fuku. Oh, shit. Sorry, Fuku. Sorry, Fuku. Where's your soup can? What do you think Fuku's made out of? This one. So it blew his head off. What happened to Andrei Sakharov? I won a Nobel Prize, one of the truly greatest activists in human history. The other true man who was from here was friends with him. He passed away recently. BOMBA. Oh, you don't think we have one, Stalin says? So remember Stalin wanted to be the first one to get to Berlin? Beat the U.S.? He got to Berlin? There's nothing there. Baby never born. Mother never pregnant. We dropped him anyway. What kind of... And we're still doubling down. We go from John Kennedy to sliding with old man Biden. Not since there was an Irishman in the White House. He's a pro-nuker. Just like Trump. Just like Obama. It's disgusting. They're all disgusting. Do you think there's a reason all these people that have anything to do with nuclear, when they grow conscious, become fierce anti-nuclears? Albert Einstein was a fierce hell of a weight up. Boil water. Kevin Blanch, March 2012. They're lying. These are full blown out meltdowns. And you're going to tell me. Winston, wasn't he MI6? Or what? 2 plus 2 is what? No. Winston, 2 plus 2. In spite of all my rage, I've still got the cage over my head, rat in a cage. Blanch. 1 is more than 3. Ollie Stone said so. Everybody, media, you say, don't say that. 1 is more than 3. 1 partial craft fight. We sure reported Chernobyl. Where's Ted Koppel 1 unit? Oh, he went off on Kissinger recently. Oh, he's still playing. 1 is more than 3, Blanche. 1 is more than 3. Well, how much is 1 more than 3? Is 1 more than 3? Yes, 1 is more than 311. 1 is more than 911. 1 is more than a Google. You're lying. I got news for all you fucks. All you pro-nuclear scumbags. True man, I hope it gets up into your fucking... That you discovered jet stream. Your souls, you pro-nuclears, rocking hell. Albert Einstein said hell was a black hole. 3 is more than 1. 3 is still more than 1.